Hi, hello and welcome back. My name's Devraj, this is Bioenergetics, and it's time for our weekly look at the Reich Homebook by Dr. Jack Willis. We're going through these exercises very slowly, bit by bit, so that we really develop a comprehensive understanding of what Jack Willis knew. And he derived his knowledge, of course, from Francis Rigardi, who I'm not sure if he really studied with Reich or not. But if you're interested in the history of this strand of Reichian thinking and how it came to still be with us, then check out my recent interview with Nick Farcher, the head of Falcon Press. Falcon Press are an independent publishing house and printing house located in America, and they've been printing a diverse catalogue of books, including stuff derived from the Reichian tradition for many decades. So do check out that interview with Nick Farcher, some great stuff in there. Okay, back to the Reich Homebook, Chapter 5, and this week's exercise is called Gasp, Inhale, Belly. And as usual, I'm going to read through what Jack wrote, and then we'll check out how the posture actually looks. So, technique, kind of interesting. It's a bit bitchy of me, but as a fellow writer, sometimes Jack Willis does amuse me. For the last exercise, he actually wrote it down 4 times, what it was, each time a little bit different. And for this exercise, he doesn't actually write it down clearly once in the entire description. But nevertheless, the technique is this. So you do a quarter second full inhale, a gasp essentially he calls it, into the belly only. And then you exhale normally with an R sound. And this is done in the standard lying down Reichian position with the knees up and the feet planted on the mat. Let's look at some points to note, because this is important. Belly only breathing needs to be mastered first. This is very important. Before trying this exercise, you need to be able to do belly only breathing, which means, lying down on the mat, expanding your abdomen to create an inhale with a relaxed throat, and then gently relaxing your abdomen to create an exhale again through a relaxed throat, without your chest muscles moving. So ensure that you've got this before you start. You can always feel your chest to make sure it's not moving, and of course your shoulders should not be moving upwards in any way at all. And once you've got this deep belly inhale going, then feel free to have a go at this gasp, inhale, belly technique. It's good to listen to the audio and hear the gasp and the R. Yes, there is an audio track, I've just listened to it recently, and essentially the gasp is pretty much inaudible because it's coming in through an open throat. So you really don't need to make any sound as you gasp, inhale, even though it's a very quick quarter second inhale. And on the out breath, you just make this relaxed ah, like a sigh, basically. The gasp should be around quarter of a second long, so it really is a fast inhale. The gasp can't be too short, assuming that the inhale is full. That's useful to know. The inhale must be full, despite the gasp. So if you're doing the gasp but barely breathing in, then you're not really doing the exercise. The chest should not be involved, so no movement in the chest. And you should feel a percussive effect in the pelvis from the gasp. It can take some practicing before you experience this. So this is really interesting because when you can do a gasp and breathe fully in, so your abdomen essentially really rounds out, and especially this lower part comes out. It's not an attractive look by 21st century Western standards. But when you can do that, you usually start to feel a kind of percussive effect, like someone is gently tapping on your pelvis from inside. And that's quite an exciting sexual kind of feeling that's created, and it creates a lot of health and vibrancy in your pelvic area. And of course, although Jack Willis doesn't explain this, I'm fairly certain that this is one of the main features of this particular exercise, to get that percussive effect going in the pelvis to create some vibrancy there. Okay, so let's take a look at what this looks like in practice. So we're going to be down on our mat, and remembering the points, we want to have our arms by our side relaxed, our eyes open, and our pelvis is down, tailbone down, soles of the feet are down and at a comfortable distance from the ass, and the feet should be around hip width apart, and your knees should be upwards, so you're not kind of splaying your knees at all or pulling them in, just upwards, but gentle, not a rigid posture. So let's start by having a belly only full inhale and exhale, and then with the R sound, and then going for it on the next inhale. So that's it. I can barely hear. I can just hear a slight inhale, which is also shows up on Jack Willis's MP3 of the sound. There's a very slight sound, but not much, and then this R sound, a relaxed sighing on the out breath, on the exhale, and that basically is this gasp exercise. I'm quite aware just from doing it for that time that I can feel energy moving in my pelvic area. So that's exciting stuff. Feel free to give this exercise a go for 5 or 10 minutes and just record how you feel. Okay, so that's this week's exercise with the Reich Homebook. I hope you're enjoying following along with these exercises and exploring them, and I'll see you again next week for more.